when we talk about, switching into this with pitching. And Zach, I don't know or Kevin, do you want to talk about the pitching where the Orioles, there's a couple guys, and one of them is up here now. And Kevin, you want to talk a little bit about one that's broken through that has done a good job that you got to see quite a bit here, David.
Yeah. David, in terms of Cade Povich, I know recent call up for Baltimore and struggled with walks in his first start, but and Camden Yards came back in that second start and was absolutely on fire, showing his stuff. What did you see from Povich down there and kind of his evolution as his career went on?
Well, certainly, good question. Certainly, his second start was the Cade Povich I know. I was pretty surprised to see him walk 4 dudes. That's just not his MO. I think when he was here, he had a 3.18 ERA. He had 75 strikeouts, 21 walks, and 56 innings over 11 starts. And I mean, the dude touches 94. His changeup's 85. The sweeper's 82. The cutter's 89. It'll touch 92. He's just a strike throwing machine. Lots of swing and miss. And I think that's what people should expect out of him. I mean, he's been kind of raring to go for a few weeks now. And I think they probably brought him up at just the right time. And I mean, your first major league start, for God's sakes, you're in a different country. That everybody and you ever met in your whole life is at the game. And, it's just got to be nerve-wracking. I don't care who you are. So maybe he got settled in a little bit. Maybe he's more comfortable in Baltimore. I don't know. But, I mean, he certainly pitched more like himself in his most recent start. He's only 24, so a lot of room to improve. I think he's going to be he's going to help him for a long time.
Yeah, and it's funny you just talked about that because we just had Connor Norby on the show, I guess Monday, and even he talked about like the difference between his first game and his second game. He was like, I felt like a whole new baseball player. He's like, that first game, I didn't even know what I was doing. He's like, I was going out there and like blacking out. He was like, I'm in the majors. So I like how you put it. I think the second game is a lot more of the Cade Povich that we hope to see. And in your opinion, is he a guy that you think, if he does get the opportunity to be an every 5-day starter, do you think he's someone that can help the Orioles down the line this year? Because like you said, he does have that strike throwing. He's going to get outs, and he can really start getting weak contact and get quick, easy outs and kind of save the bullpen.
Oh, 100%. I think he not only can help him this year, he can help him for the next 10 years, potentially, if, they keep him. I mean, he's no slouch. 3rd rounder out of University of Nebraska. Came over from the Twins with Cano and a couple other guys 2 years ago. So the Orioles obviously liked him a lot. And, frankly, their track record in drafting and acquiring players and then developing them has been pretty stellar the past 4 years. And I was Ryan and I have talked about this some. Buck Britton, the manager here, was a player here when I got here in 2013, and so was his brother Zach. Zach was a mediocre AAA pitcher, turned into a legendary closer in the big leagues.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
Pretty good.
And but they were both here, and I spent a lot of time talking, especially to Buck, really back then. And Buck and I talk all the time about those teams in 13 and 14 that he was on, and just the number of derelicts and retreads who were here. And like, if anybody had any success here, they were going to get a shot with the Orioles. And that, they had the good run in 14, but then after that, if you did anything in AAA, they're like, come on up. But now it's like an ongoing narrative that I have to battle every day, because you got guys like Kjerstad and Norby and last year, Joey Ortiz, people are really producing, and there's just nowhere for them. And we're always talking about, how do you keep your head on straight?
Yeah.
And I mean, Norby said something great to me like 2 days before he went up. He goes, I'm a good AAA player. Now, mind you, he hit 290 last year over 130 games or whatever, hit 21 homers, 92 RBIs. That's off the top of my head. So, yeah, he's right. He's a good AAA player. But he goes, I don't want to be a good AAA player. I want to be a good big leaguer. And I really think I can play at that level, and I can do it for a long time. I just have to wait my turn. And he got his turn a little bit, and then,
Yep.
you know, they got somebody back, and the dude's a gold glover. So how are you going to argue with that? Norby will be fine.
He'll be fine. He'll
Yeah.
be good. He's a great player. He's got a lot of talent, but again, it's a log jam of pieces there that you got to wait. And for the Orioles, I know people are saying, well, we'll trade these guys. Well, it's like, hey, you know, the Orioles, and this is the business part of it. It stinks if you're a player because you're like, hey, I'm ready. But for the Orioles, it's like, if I don't have to move a guy right now, and we have one of the best teams, I don't want to lose a talented player. Eventually the time's going to have to come, but it's not right now. There's one other pitcher, right, Zach, that people were talking about?
Yeah, it feels like, especially going into the season, towards the end of last year, there were two pitchers coming up through the minors that everyone was kind of keyed in on and focused on. And it was Povich, obviously, who we now see in the majors, and then Chase McDermott. From what you've seen, having another good year, not quite as good as Povich, but then again, Povich is having an amazing year. What have you seen from Chase McDermott, and is he a guy that you think could see the majors by the end of this year?
Absolutely. I mean, the kid leads the International League with 93 strikeouts in 14 games, 13 starts, 3.64 ERA. He's only walked 41, and this is in 64 innings. His 1.11 WHIP is tied for the lead in the league, which tells you that he keeps people off base. And you know, the Orioles are. Chase came over in the Trey Mancini deal from Houston, I believe. And so, you know, Trey was a good player at the time. Not that he's bad now, just not where he wants to be.
It was the right timing of the trades when you're looking at the value here, and it's the same thing with Jorge Lopez.
I mean, that trade deadline, the Orioles got Cano, Povich, Seth Johnson, and McDermott. I mean, unreal.
Yeah,
pretty good haul right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think McDermott is a guy who throws hard enough, and could do it. You know, maybe even throw harder in short stints. Like maybe he's a dude they bring up and move to the back of the bullpen. I don't know. But, you know, right now he's being groomed as a starter. He certainly could be a good starter. I mean, well, he is a good starter in AAA. So, yeah, to answer your question, I think he definitely is a dude who could help. No question about it.
Well, and they need depth, right? Like that's the biggest part right here where everyone's wondering is with the injuries, Means done for the year. Wells done for the year. Dean Kramer hopefully going to be back soon. There's just not a lot of depth down there. I mean, Julio Teheran just, you know, signed the minor league deal, but outside of that, is the Orioles going to need to go outside to get starting pitching if they need some depth, or they stay and put with who they have in the system, which we'll find out here in a little bit.